Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
Flight Sports TV, that's where it's at.
Flight Sports TV.
Look, y'all. What's going on, people? It's Flight Sports TV. I appreciate y'all for checking with me. I already know what it is. We back with another one of them things. Listen, man, we getting them lives going, and listen, it's about to go down. We got Charlotte Hornets basketball approaching fastly. You understand? Y'all better buckle up. You know when we got Sam in the building, you know what's on the horizon. You know, we got a lot of things to discuss. Some good, you know, some kind of, you know, not so good, but we're going to get into it and we're ready for it. It's so many different moves that was made around the season. It's not even funny. And we're going to figure out how this impacts the Charlotte Hornets. Listen, it's so crazy. The Charlotte Hornets, they opened their preseason game up against the New York Knicks. We are going to get a first look at Mr. Karl-Anthony Towns. Is going down. We got breaking news in the NBA, but before we do that, you already know we're going to introduce my man Sam. Sam, what's the deal? It's Flight Sports. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. It's crazy because I'm so wrapped up in football season that NBA stuff just really snuck up on me, and it's crazy that we're here already. But I'm here for it. I'm excited.
Right. I'm telling you, it seemed like this stuff just happened so fast. We ain't gonna waste too much time with the people. We ain't gonna play with them. What's going on with you? Let everybody know what you got going on. You know, you on Flight Sports. You ain't you're not a stranger here. Talk to the people, man.
Yeah, man. YouTube.com/Sam Dracula. I'll be active there starting this weekend. I'll probably live stream the first preseason game. At least it's a 5 o'clock start, so that's really doable on my schedule. And then I started doing a podcast. I joined an existing podcast with James Plowright, British Buzz on Twitter, Hornets on SI. We do that every Tuesday. It comes out. We record Mondays. So I'm excited to do that. So yeah, that's me. That's me right now.
Right. So
every once in a while, Bleacher Report, but whatever they ask, I come running.
Shout out to Bleacher Report. Shout out to everything you got going on. I see you got big things popping. What you got? Something going on with Sports Illustrated?
Yeah. So Hornets on SI. Used to be called the All Hornets Podcast Network. Now it's Hornets on SI. The name may change again. I don't know. It's above my pay grade. But no, yeah, I'm collaborating with James Plowright, British Buzz on Twitter, for a weekly podcast talking Hornets. We have 2 episodes up. The most recent one was all about Media Day. At that time when we recorded, the 3-team trade wasn't finalized yet, so we didn't get too much into that. I'm sure we will next time around. But yeah, no, it's fun. I always love talking Hornets basketball, good, bad, or indifferent.
Right. So now we got a trade to discuss. The Hornets figured out a way to sneak into a couple trades this offseason. It's so crazy. Before we get into the Karl-Anthony Towns situation, we need to get into the situation they got into with Klay Thompson. I'm on record already of saying that the Hornets are helping facilitate all of these big-time deals. They goddamn it, the NBA owe the Hornets a favor at some point. I'm telling you, they maneuvering some things, and they getting in the mix. When the last time you seen the Hornets in so many different conversations? I think that's saying something.
Legit.
What do you think about the Hornets, getting back involved in a big trade for Karl-Anthony Towns? There was a third team partner. It would have never got done without him. What's your thoughts on what the Hornets are doing to maybe position themselves in the future for something like that? Talk to me.
I think it's indicative of this new front office, new ownership, just new everything, right? Like
Yeah.
Kupchak is never gonna get involved in the stuff. And I don't know if it's specific to Jeff Peterson's individual relationships throughout the league that teams are calling him up, asking him to get involved in things, or if he's proactive. But we do know is like this team has been really smart with the cap, which has allowed them to take on contracts, whether it's Devontae Graham or whoever, right? Reggie Jackson, right? Just take on these contracts to get second rounders for their efforts, like for the hard work. We haven't got that big. Like remember OKC was doing this. They were taking on any and all contracts and first round picks. The Hornets aren't at that level, but collecting all these second rounders that do have equity and value for guys that other teams just trying to move to make things work. I think it's a great place to be, especially when this roster, the outlook is still undetermined, right? So when as the Hornets are in this like malleable state, they're able to take advantage and collect, right? Jeff Peterson, the new GM, every opportunity he's had to talk in front of the media has mentioned two words: being strategic and being opportunistic. And we've seen that with the Josh Green, Klay Thompson situation, with this Cat situation, again, Reggie Jackson. Every opportunity he seemingly is making the most out of every opportunity they have in front of them to collect assets. Because I can't sit here and say like I don't know if these guys are gonna be on the final 15 or not, but we do know that the Charlotte Hornets first round pick this year is lottery protected. So if they're not in the playoffs, then they keep the first round pick, right? Otherwise, it goes to San Antonio this year. If they keep the first round pick, it becomes 2-2s. So the fact that they're collecting these second rounders through all these deals just makes it whole in the event that they are a lottery team and they keep the first round pick. They'll have plenty of second rounders to dish out.
Right, I agree with that. Well, let's not waste a lot of time. Mark Williams, this is real crazy. As soon as we can't even get started yet, and Mark Williams has done went down. What the hell is going on with Mark Williams, man? Because he has the ability right now to deflate all the air out the tank before the shit even gets started. What's the latest on the Mark Williams situation?
So he says he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks, right? Doesn't mean he's going to be cleared, right? It's just he's not. We know he's going to do nothing for 2 weeks, which sucks because he missed the vast majority of last season, and he's going to miss preseason. And this was his opportunity to show what he can look like in year 3, right? That the back is a thing of the past. He says there's no pain there, like with the back injury that kept him out last year. He says that's over with. Nothing even to consider with that anymore. Great, cool. 7-footer back issues, scary, but he says no problem, fine. But he also was very. I don't know if you were if you haven't watched his media day interview, please do it and let me know if you have seen it. Let me know if I'm off here. But he seemed very, very defensive about this injury. Didn't even want to say how it happened, and say he didn't want to relive it. That was very weird and strange as a viewer. Hopefully he's fine. Obviously, this team certainly needs him. The front court is really light without him. But yeah, haven't played a basketball game yet, and he's already hurt. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it really is.
I just want to say, we wanted everyone, him and everyone else, just reaffirm that it's a minor injury, that it shouldn't be anything serious. It's not anything serious. So I just want to say that as well. That I hope that's the case, that it's not serious and it is only a minor injury.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like that you said how basically he didn't really want to speak on it. That was very alarming to me. I'm listening to Mark Williams. He like, wait a minute, I don't know the injury. He don't know nothing. He don't want to speak on it. He don't want to disclose. That's alarming. He don't know when he coming back. That's crazy.
When you hear that, like, were you like skateboarding? Like, what happened? Like, what are you doing? Were you doing something they shouldn't have been doing? Right. It's weird. It's really, but
he's not. He won't be a part of training camp. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, at Duke, like they're meant. This is meant. They're building all this up for him. Not specifically for him, but it was like things were falling in place for him. He was back to playing 5-on-5, had the all clear. right? He was on he's being mentioned in national columns about big men to watch for this season, and walking boot out 2 weeks.
Yeah, man, this guy Mark Williams got to get it back together, man. We're gonna figure out what's your thoughts on, because obviously he won't be available in the preseason game. They
Mhm.
are gonna get the first look at the new improved New York Knicks. I am a Knicks fan. As of lately, I became a Charlotte Hornets fan. So this has been kind of crazy as one big collision course seemed like it's happening on Sunday. And both teams, I believe, got a little things to implement. The Knicks new regime, the Hornets new regime. They gonna have to put the pedal to the metal.
Mhm.
And how you see that game going, and what's your thoughts on that blockbuster move by the New York Knicks? They acquired McHale and now Karl-Anthony Towns. They are stacking the deck in New York City. Talk to us, Sam.
So for the Knicks side, I think the Knicks are primed for the 1 seed
Yeah,
in the East. Um, like I, that,
easily.
I got nothing else to say about that. Especially with Boston, I assume they'll be resting guys like Boston and New York. Like they're gonna walk whoever they play against in the first round. So for Boston, they shouldn't be too concerned about being the 1 seed. They're gonna be in the Eastern Conference Finals no matter what. So I can envision them taking the foot off the gas a little bit during the regular season. But I think New York, all the moves they made have been insane in a good way, insanely good. And I think they're primed for the 1 seed. But for the Hornets for preseason, it just sucks with the Mark Williams thing. I just want to see Lamelo, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams. Right? They played 12 games together last year. Right? It worked when they were in that small sample size. It worked, but we're gonna have to continue to wait to see that again. Beyond that, Brandon Miller, how's he looking? How's LaMelo looking? Right? Who's going to start next to him? Who's that fifth starter going to be? Right? Assuming Nick Richards plays the 5. Yeah, Miles Bridges at the 4. Do you see Josh Green start? Do you see Trey Mann? Do you see Cody Martin? Do you see Seth Curry? What that looks like, what that first bench rotation looks like, those things will get indications of. And do we see the kid? Right? Do we see the 18-year-old Deshaun Salon get out there? So that's what I'll be looking for as a Hornets fan this first preseason game. Just what does our rookie head coach, how's he manage this roster? Where are his preferences? What groupings does he like the most? And what's this emphasis on defense look like? They talked about it a lot on media day. They talked a lot about it during practices throughout the summer, and now that they are in training camp, the emphasis on defense. What does that look like? Right? So that's where my head's at for Hornets preseason for the Charlotte side.
Right. I definitely, like I said, it's always an honor to have my man Sam in the building. Listen, make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel, Sam Dracula. He going live this weekend and beyond. It's Flight Sports. You already know what it is. Listen, man, it's crazy stuff going on. You spoke about the defense, right? Here at Flight Sports, we reported on that, how defense seems to be the emphasis, especially day 1 of training camp.
Yeah.
They talking about LaMelo Ball out there really defending. Now, this summer, you had a lot of reports of his defense was lackluster. They said this, they said that. What is your thoughts on Miles Bridges? Coach, everybody is saying how Melo is taking the initiative. What's your thoughts on him possibly taking that next step defensively? Do you think he's capable of that? Which I do, but I want to get your thoughts on the situation.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he has the mentality, he has the quick hands, the instinct to be a good to very good, consistent defensive player. But my mind goes for LaMelo is so dynamic offensively. You don't really. I don't say you. I don't know if I want him being a this. All right, bear with me. This doesn't sound crazy. It's gonna sound crazy, but I don't need him to be a lockdown defender, right? We need him on the offensive side. So defensively, he just has to be solid, right? And he can definitely do that for all 82 games, right? I think that's where you want to be. If he's picking up the other team's best guard every possession, I think that's going to take away from his offensive game, and that makes the team worse overall, right? So when going back to what the starting five looks like or what the closing group looks like, does Josh Green become that point of attack defender that allows Lamelo to guard the other guard, right? Occupying passing lanes, right? Tipping entry passes, things like that, using his height and wingspan to his advantage and creating fast breaks off of that. I think that's the best version of LaMelo Ball defensively, not as the on-ball guy, because I think you want him at his best offensively. So that's where I'm at, and that just goes back to, for me, just how is this team going to be constructed, and how does Charles Lee going to run these defensive groups?
You're speaking about Charles Lee. He going up against the big bad wolf in Tom Thibodeau. I know it's preseason, but like I said, you speaking a lot on the Hornets side. How do you think LaMelo's against Brunson? You know, he just became the captain of the New York Knicks. What do you think about Brandon Miller? They talking about he the next Paul George. Do you see those defenders over there? Do you think OG? Do you think Mikal? They're gonna be out there, you know, ready to just let shit go? Yeah, I'm just saying. I know it's preseason. These two guys never played with each other before. They're gonna have to implement some things. I think this is gonna be a good outing. You know, also Miles. The Knicks are just gonna allow you to walk to the paint now.
Right. Yeah,
Who knows who's gonna play for the Knicks? That's gonna be the question. Do you think that's gonna be a good test for the Charlotte Hornets going up against the firepower that's going up at their New York City right now?
Yeah, because like it doesn't get much better than the Knicks right now, roster wise.
I like the sound of that. Keep
you know,
going.
so like if you have any success against the main starters or rotation guys, like because we don't know who's gonna like play preseason, but assuming the Knicks roll out their full power lineup and the Hornets roll out their full power lineup, if the Hornets have any success against that group, that's only a good thing. And if they don't, it's fine because the Knicks are really good, right? Like if it's only upside if you're going strength versus strength for the Hornet side. If they, you know, if they get blown out, it's whatever. Because like the Knicks, you should lose to the Knicks, right? But if they keep it close and competitive and show that fight, that fire, Charles Lee talked about that grind mentality. If they, you know, if you see those signs and they come up a little short, even better, right? But it's a very tough matchup depending on who's going to be playing. But I mean, I'm here for it, man. Like again, I just want to see what these guys compete because they didn't compete a lot last year, and I want to see it. I want to see if they can do it.
Right. Do you think that this is a playoff team in Charlotte this season?
No, I don't.
No. What's standing in the way of the Hornets getting to the postseason? You know, why can't they squeak into the play-in at the very minimum? Do you think the play-in is that realistic or are they way behind that as well?
No, I think they're in the play-in conversation, but I don't think they make it out. If they make it there, I don't think they make it out of it. They don't have the depth to do it.
What about a favorable matchup?
I mean, no, I don't see it because like, all right, you got like the front court is really light. All right, the wing depth is not really there. Like the backup small forward is Cody Martin. Like, are you relying on him? You know what I mean? Like Mark Williams is already hurt. All right, LaMelo's coming off 2 serious injuries. There's too many questions around it. Right, and then you have Micic, who is a good backup, but I think he gets moved during the season. Like I think there are guys who are going to be moved during the year, and it's not going to be a tank, like a full on like fire sale tank. Like I'm not saying that. I just think this team is going to be above the bottom dwellers. Like I think they're better than the Pistons, the Nets, etc. Like that group, the Wizards. I think they're better than them. It's just in their own category between that bottom and that fringe 11, 12, 13 area. And again, I would love to be wrong. I want my team to be good, but it's fine. Like this group, this ownership group is clearly being patient with this. And I respect it because as soon as we've seen in the past when this team had cap space, they were quick to blow through it. They've been very deliberate with the moves they made. right? Even bringing Bridges back on a front-loaded contract that declines year after year. Like they've been operating very this front office has been very savvy with the cap and with asset management. And I think that 1 year of not going for it is totally fine with a vision of building something long term. And I think that's where we're going. Because when Jeff Peterson talks about it, he deflected when someone asked him what the expectations are for this team. He said, we're not going down that road. We just want to see growth and development. And I think that's what we'll see this year. If the end results of the playoffs, great. But I don't think that's realistic.
Right. I agree with you to under one circumstance if LaMelo Ball is healthy. I want to revisit down memory lane for a second. Last year, you've seen it first, and they had a puncher's chance in a lot of those games, when LaMelo Ball was there. And prior to him going down, he was on like a 7-game extravaganza. You understand? So, and like the Hornets were in those games. I believe a healthy LaMelo, if he could sustain himself. Last time we seen a healthy Melo, he was an all-star. They reached the play-in. They looked like the team was progressing. They went through injuries. I just don't see a situation where if he's healthy, they got the ankle braces now. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah.
They finally got something custom for him, the right fit and everything. I think all of these things could bode well for them. I don't think they're in a situation where they can enter the Cooper Flag sweepstakes or the Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey ain't getting enough credit as Flight Sports. Everybody gonna be running around talking about Ace Bailey. I told you, and there's been reports that Cooper Flag is not a lock. You heard it here, and it got a lot to do with my man Ace Bailey coming out of Rutgers. But I just don't think they could enter that situation, Sam. I think it's serious ramifications. LaMelo can't stick around for too many more losing seasons. What's your thoughts on those statements?
I mean, well, so first off, you don't have to be at the bottom of the league to be in the first pick conversation, right? We've seen it. You just got to be in there, right? Bottom 6, bottom 7, whatever the number is, like you're in there. You have a puncher's chance at getting a top pick. I mean, not the first pick, but a top pick, top 4 pick, right? Hornets got lapped last year in the lottery, and they dropped. LaMelo being healthy is everything. Like any success they have, it's because LaMelo is healthy. He's the best player on the team, and they have no shot without him. And like you mentioned, every shot with him. But he can't play every game. He can't play every minute every game. And I don't think the roster is deep enough to go for it. I think it's better than last year, but not complete.
I feel you there. I think that they are a much more improved team this season. But Mark Williams going down, I think kind of hurts. But go ahead.
And with LaMelo, going off only of what Jeff Peterson's been saying about being strategic and opportunistic, like that's not his guy. Like Peterson didn't pay Melo, right? So there's no connection there other than what they're building now. So if that came where he's like, all right, I want out, I think Peterson will look out at an opportunity to bring in more assets into Charlotte. Like I don't think it'd be where he'd just be like, it'll be the end of the world for him. Like I think it's an opportunity for him to make the best deal possible for the franchise.
Right. I understand where you're coming from. It seems to be, are they forcing LaMelo into a situation like that? Because it seems like they are kind of somewhat BSing around with the roster. I think you got to go for the juggler at some point. Look, Karl-Anthony Towns just went for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. They couldn't get Miles Bridges in there and maybe something. I don't know. I'm just saying, that's just my thoughts. I think they're getting closer and closer to something like that. I think Miles getting that money, I think they're going to use that for something, in the future.
It's very tradable. Like, he's a good player.
Yes, that's why it's very tradable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, it's some ways where they can maneuver to build around LaMelo. And I think this season they're going to see firsthand. You are right. He didn't draft him. That's not his guy. That's not, but I mean, he'll see firsthand that that's his. Listen, I'm telling you, everybody's behind LaMelo on this roster. Not only does LaMelo Ball have that, despite this whole new regime, all of these guys are backing LaMelo, including Brandon Miller, the person that the city of Charlotte is backing. You understand? He's delegating everything to Melo. Everybody's letting be known we ain't doing a goddamn thing without LaMelo. That's what I heard from everybody with the microphone. Did you hear that?
Yeah, and they're right. This team has no shot without him. Absolutely no shot of doing anything significant without LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, so I just think it would be a very terrible mistake for them, to even think of something like that because you don't know what these draft picks may even amount to. But I understand where it seems like I just watching just because I understand how the Ball family fans feel, and then I also understand how the real city of Charlotte may feel. They may feel a gold mine. Let's get LaMelo the hell up out of here for 5 first rounders and a bunch of no names, and let's just get this thing over with. So I just want to know, are they going to do something? You got B. Miller. I think it's time to figure out what's up with Miles. Is he going to take the next step this season? Mark Williams fooling around. You heard Nick Richards' name up in everything. So it's going to get to the point where they got enough assets here to bring in something. Like I said, Karl-Anthony Towns went for 1 first rounder. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Imagine if it was a Hornets first rounder. That was a Knicks first rounder.
Yeah.
See, come on, that's what I'm saying. You ain't gonna tell me it ain't no deals out there for the Hornets to build around LaMelo and Brandon Miller, because I believe Miller he very well could be the leading scorer on this team this season. I know I said a lot there, but let's break it down.
So my whole thing and why I'm cool with them being patient is because we do not know what the best supporting cast is with LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and I don't even want to put Mark Williams in the class of those guys just because Mark is going into year 3 and hasn't played 82 games yet. We don't really know, really know what he is. We've seen some great games and also saw him disappear, and now we got some weird injuries. So I think he's I don't want to put him in that group. But when you talk about real building blocks, LaMelo and Brandon Miller, we don't know for sure what the best pieces around those guys are, right? And so if we have a year where we see 70 plus games of LaMelo and Brandon Miller, and the front office will know, all right, we can't do this. Brandon's a 3. If we're going to play Brandon at 3, we need this type of shooting guard out there, right? If we're going to put Brandon at the 2, we need this type of small forward and power forward out there, right? I don't have the LaMelo and Brandon Miller numbers, but I know with LaMelo and Brandon Miller and Mark Williams, that 3, the pace of those guys last season was, I think 105 or something like that. It was miles ahead of what the rest of the team was. Like, they clearly excelled. They were a positive point differential trio compared to the rest of the team in the entirety of last season. Like, what does that group look like? And if they spend a year figuring that out, then you can figure out, okay, we need to go get this guy, right? Not saying Siakam's not going anywhere, but Siakam was floated around last year, or Anunoby, those dudes that are just kind of top tier level role players. All right, this is what we're missing. We need to add this guy and go get him. I just don't know if they know what that guy is yet, because we haven't seen what the product is yet with the best players on the team.
I agree with that. That was a good statement. That was a good statement, what you said. But guys just got to be healthy, point blank, period. I just want to see a healthy LaMelo. I think with a healthy Melo, things should fall in line. I'm expecting a jump from Brandon Miller too. Also on the defensive end from Miller, we get caught up in his scoring, but I expect him to step it up defensively as well. What do you think about Miles Bridges saying that he's got his hops back? Because last year I didn't really like Miles Bridges' game. I thought he was just shooting the ball too much. I didn't know who the hell that was. He was a complete different player from the Airbnb days to, I don't know what happened. He didn't want to dunk because it was going to cause a bad light out of his agent. I don't know what the hell happened. but he's going. It was times where he had a lane and he was laying the shit up. What do you think about Miles saying he got his hops back? What are you expecting from Miles Bridges this season? Talk to us.
So it seemed like Bridges was on audition mode last year. Like we didn't know definitively that he didn't want to be traded until deadline day. That morning, agent came out and said, "We're not waiving the no trade." Not a peep of that before that. And meanwhile, he's like chucking up shots and not getting rebounds. So before all of that, Bridges showed to be an incredible teammate. A guy that his teammates love to play with. Guys willing to do the dirty work, pick up defenders and run the floor and run the floor and slam it home. I think I want to take him at his word because at media day he said, I'm taking a step back. This is Lamelo. This is Brandon Miller. They're the 1-2 options here. I'm going to fill in the gaps. And if Lamelo and Brandon Miller are leading the charge, it's only going to create better opportunities for him and whoever else is on the floor, because Lamelo and Brandon Miller are going to draw a lot of attention, right? So it's only going to make Bridges' job easier offensively. So yeah, I mean, I want to take him at his word that he's going to his vertical is still there, the explosion is still there, but I don't know, man. Like, what's he sitting at right now? Is he 27 right now? So he's still very much in his prime. But eventually, there's gonna be a day where the lifts aren't there, and so what's that look like, right? And that goes back to kind of like the long-term future of the team and the potential of him getting moved. But because the time Lamelo and Brandon Miller, like those guys, the guys are 21, 22, 23 years old right now. When they're Bridges' age, Bridges gonna be well over 30. Is not be part of this mix anymore. So what does that look like?
Yeah, good call. What's your thoughts on Miles Bridges? Freestyling. He dropped the album. What the hell is going on with Miles Bridges? Because do we need to be concerned? You've seen the Draymond situation. They worried about Draymond. Do we need to be worried about Miles Bridges? Because he's had some serious issues.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any of the music or heard any of the music he's put out. To be honest with you, I don't care. Like I don't care for it. Miles Bridges is the person, not interested in. Miles Bridges is the basketball player. I am, but the person, no.
Yeah.
So
hopefully they don't conflict though. But you didn't see it though. That's crazy because it went viral. This guy,
I scroll right past it. If I see anything Miles Bridges on my feed, I'm just passing it. I just don't care. I'm off it.
Yeah, you're just concerned about him on the floor. Evidently, he's still a member of the team. So I understand. It's unfortunate. But hey, that's Melo's guy. I believe if it wasn't for LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges would have been on the first thing smoking. They wanted to get rid of him, but I just think Melo's hold, kept him there. They are really tight. So that's crazy. This organization is up for something. I think the new ownership, you finally seeing them putting their fingerprints on things. It's just interesting to see how everything is going to take shape. But we got a exciting NBA year. We're going to get back to the Hornets. If around the schedule, you see the East is crazy. It's top heavy. You got the Knicks, you got the Celtics, you got the Sixers. We get so caught up with the Knicks. What's your thoughts on Philadelphia? They got Paul George. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey is taking the next step. What's your thoughts on the whole Philadelphia situation as we look at the top of the East?
Yeah, I mean, they're going for it, right? Caleb Martin, right? Like they're going for it. They're not going to break into that top two, but all you got is like they're building a squad for a shot at it, hoping Embiid is around, right? Come playoff time, come big game time, and then you didn't mention Milwaukee. Like you never know with Giannis and Dame. Like the East is very, very top heavy. So my money, like not my literal money, because I was looking at the betting odds before we jumped on here, just out of curiosity. And like the Celtics. So I was just looking at what was it? It was Eastern Conference playoff odds just to make the playoffs. Celtics weren't even listed. Like just no, like they're being in the playoffs. We're not even setting odds for it, right? Beyond that, it's like what does Orlando look like? Right? What does Indiana look like? Like there's some teams that could be making some noise. The Heat are always going to be lurking around no matter who's on the roster. Like that team is so well coached. Like it's like whatever, you know. Yeah. I wouldn't put any money on the East because the value isn't there with the top tier teams, and I think that that middle tier is such like it's such a toss up.
I'm going out on a limb, man. I'm going down with the ship. I'm rocking with the Hornets. But if we talking championships, listen, I'm going with New York City. All jokes aside, I got the New York Knicks going to the NBA Finals. I got the New York Knicks beating whoever the hell comes out the West. You know, the team is just overwhelmingly on another level. They should have took out Indiana. You know, it was unfortunate, you know, but everybody's going to be coming back healthy this year. We'll get into it. Listen, I got Purple in the building. We got our special guest Sam Dracula in the building. He getting us ready. You know, we got a big time Hornets season coming up. Big time game rolling around this Sunday. Purple was good.
Hello.
What's the deal? What's your thoughts on the situation with the Hornets? I don't know if you heard anything Sam was speaking on. Is there anything that you want to highlight or we need to touch on? Talk to us.
I told you it wasn't nothing but some second round picks. I already knew that for that trade with New York and Minnesota. I knew it was a whole bunch of second round picks.
What's your thoughts on them second round picks? Like I said, even though he did, Sam did speak on that. For the people that's just joining us, Hornets fans should be optimistic about those second round picks. What do you say to Hornets fans for that's just joining us right now, Sam? How should they feel about their inclusion on this three-way deal with New York?
I mean, it's truly for nothing. They added draft capital and players. Like all due respect to James Najee, that guy couldn't get on the floor at Barcelona, right? I think he had some injury issues and then went on loan. I don't know if that guy like plays in America. So they gave up really nothing. Took on some contracts that they had the space for and got some second rounders. I know second rounders are boring, but you could package them together and get a real player back like they just did with Josh Green, right? Who was in the NBA Finals. So one second round is not like it's nothing. But when you have 2, 3, 4, 5 to package together, you could turn that into a real contributor. And this is a matter of when they choose to cash in. Like if you end up drafting a bunch of second rounders, that's not where you want to be, right? The value is in the trade market and whenever and however they spend it.
Right. You brought up Micic, right? What's your thoughts on Micic basically fantasizing about playing with Nikola Jokic and all this other shit? I really didn't like that. You know, I seen that over the offseason. He seemed like he got 1 foot in and 1 foot out of Charlotte. What the hell is going on with Micic?
Yeah, so Micic he's under contract this year and then has a team option next year. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of him, I think he is a quality backup point guard and is useful. So for the Hornets, I think it's one of their better trade pieces, either in a one-off or in a package deal for a team that needs some guard help. And I think he's probably, I haven't really done I probably should do a proper list on this, but like if I did a power rankings of Hornets most likely to be traded during the year, he'd be number 1, I think, at this point. But I mean, listen, if you want, like, everyone should be trying to get to Denver, like to play with Jokic. So I can't fault the man too much.
Yeah, I'm not with you, bro. It's crazy. They got Russ there. Denver, to me, I think that ship is sailed. I want to talk to you about the Minnesota side of things because we talked about the Hornets inclusion. What the hell is going on with them? You know, why would they do this for Karl-Anthony Towns? And also they're getting Julius, who I believe is a fraud, you know, but I got a lot of respect for him. And then they're getting DiVincenzo. I just think they got highway robbed. What's your thoughts on this situation with Minnesota? What the hell is going on?
I think they saw like that. What they beat Denver, and then just couldn't get across the line against Dallas, right? And it's kind of they largely had the same team with the addition of Dillingham, right, from Kentucky. So this just allows them a different dynamic. So it's that thing where like you doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is the definition of insanity. So I respect that they've took their sweet time to do it, but that they shook it up enough to be a different squad to potentially beat Denver again and or beat Dallas. I think you had to do something. And moving Towns for Randall and DiVincenzo, like it's a different look, more wing depth for them. And gotta hope Anthony Edwards doesn't run out of gas again.
It's that I was just listening to some reports. This could kind of open up the door maybe for maybe Edwards to maybe one out. If things don't go well. I mean, who's to say? I mean, in a year or two, Edwards not like I'm ready to get the hell up out of here. Charlotte need to try to figure something out to get in that situation. Lamelo and Edwards, that has to happen. If Lamelo got traded, I would like him. I know it's cold in Minnesota. But I think those two need to just figure out a way to figure it out, if all hell broke loose. But go ahead.
No, I mean, listen, George, he's a Georgia boy. George is right there. So come on back to the Southeast. I'm here for it.
That's right down the block. It'll be nothing to get to Atlanta.
They got his face on posters over here, like on Sprint billboards in Charlotte. So might as well.
Yeah, you might as well. You right about that. It's cool. Listen, we can't get out of here without talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and the soap opera that's going on there. Obviously, Mr. JJ Redick, he's got a lot on his plate. Bronny James and LeBron. What are the Lakers competing for a championship, or is this some bullshit? Going on with LeBron and Bronny? Because I don't feel that I don't believe they're a championship threat. I see a lot of laughing and giggling going on. It seemed like this season is all about LeBron playing with his son. So how should Laker fans feel? Are they cool with this swan song? Or are they trying to compete? Because they don't look competitive with nobody. Everybody's better than them, in my opinion, right now. I have to see it. Go ahead, Sam.
No, like the West is crazy, right? And like the high end of OKC, Minnesota, Dallas, right? Denver, Phoenix should be better and figured out. Memphis with a healthy jaw, right? Like that alone is a crazy outlook. That's before even mention the Pelicans with Zion and with Murray, like what they look like if they move on from Ingram, like what do they get back? Like there are teams that are miles ahead of the Lakers. And then if you're a Lakers fan, I think the hope is like you make the play in and just get into the mix, and then the idea that anything can happen in the playoffs. But it's so good. It's a dog fight, man. Like a dog fight. I didn't even mention Sacramento. Like that, or like what if Wemby just takes a crazy leap and San Antonio's a player and they become active?
They're going to the playoffs with Chris Paul, Sam. They're going to the playoffs. But go ahead.
Yeah, and they'll be able to add pieces during the season to improve their team. You know what I mean? So like for the Lakers just seem so stagnant, and their focus is to prop up Bronny. So yeah, if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm not too happy, because if you're a Lakers fan, you should have some high expectations as one of the premier franchises in the NBA, and this run up this offseason doesn't seem to match what I would assume those expectations should be.
Yes, it's pretty disgusting, because I say that in all seriousness, because all of the teams out there competing, especially right now, the Knicks, you have them in big trades. The Lakers just went quiet. They didn't have them in the mix. And that's very rare, to see the Lakers just out of it. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. LeBron, to me, is running out of gas. I don't see him able to take over like he used to, like flip that switch. I think that's over with. Anthony Davis, I think I don't know. You brought up this guy, Brandon Ingram, for a second, right? Would you like the Hornets to maybe figure something out if he was available? Or do they have the capital? What would you move? Talk to me.
Yeah, so I think to make it work, Bridges has to be in that deal. I think we put Micic in that deal. The Hornets have their picks outside of the one they owe San Antonio, the protected one. So, I just don't know what New Orleans would want in return. But if they would, because do you do Bridges and Zion on the same team? Like that seems weird.
Zion can't play the 5.
So I mean, it seems
Were they
redundant.
playing? Were they teasing that or no? He can't play the 5.
No. If anything, he's probably playing more in the backcourt than down low.
Right.
But maybe you got Murphy, put him at the 2, and then Bridges at the 3. I don't know. You figure it out. Reunite with Borrego. I don't know. I just don't know what the best for anybody. The best Packers the Hornets could put together includes Bridges and Micic, and then maybe one of the kids like Nick Smith Jr., Trey Mann, right, who's in the last year's rookie deal, like something like that, on top of whatever, and you could probably get there. Which I mean, that's enough for Ingram, I would say. But then you're like, all right, what do you have left, right? You got Lamelo, so you would have Lamelo, Brandon Miller, Brandon Ingram, Grant Williams, and Mark Williams. It's like it's a little light still. So I don't know, man. I wish Mark was fully healthy. I wish we had better center depth. I wish a lot of things. I still think we're there yet. We're not where Cleveland was when they made the Mitchell deal, where the Knicks were when they made both crazy deals. I want to get to a level where we have a more solid foundation where you can point and say, we need this type of guy to take us here. Because right now the foundation is shaky because we just don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, we got Purple.
Nah, I was just gonna say, New Orleans is gonna say no to that. They got Herb Jones there. He's a better defender than Miles.
Yeah.
Not a better offensive player. And then Trey Murphy, whether you can call him a better shooter or offensive player altogether, he's better than him. So, nah, it's going to be a third team. Whoever that third team is, whoever ain't got a wing right now, maybe Atlanta is the only team that I can think of offhand would probably have to put them together in multiple first-round picks because I think Brandon Ingram can go for at least 2 first-round picks.
No, I agree with that. I want to ask you a question, Purple, because Sam is on record of saying that the Hornets, he doesn't believe the Hornets are a playoff team. Do you agree with that, as we headed into the season?
Yes, I do. I told you before that I see them in Atlanta hovering around 35 to 40 game win season. I think they'll be really close and stuff like that because I think the Hornets are lacking center depth, of course. I think they're going to have a problem rebounding, but I do think they'll have a top 5. I'm going to keep saying it, to top 3 defense. I think they're going to be a bad team from the field. They're not going to be really good at shooting threes as I don't understand why Curry is not on the main roster instead of the G League roster, but I'm gonna mind my business there. But they just gonna be average, I think.
Well, we're gonna find out. Somebody said in the chat says Melo healthy is 7th seed. That's what I agree with both of y'all. Only if Melo was healthy, 7th seed. That'll be tough. I just want him to get back to playing. I think it's playing or bust. That's just how I'm going with it.
But my thing about the playing, right? What team since the last time the Hornets made the play-in got worse, and what teams got better?
Then they got killed on both of those.
You look at Indiana now, right? They're clear of Charlotte right now, fully clear.
Orlando got better, more experience. They got their
guy. Got something to prove. He can't have Pascal Siakam just violating him.
Yeah,
He's making $25 million. How much money he making?
I think
I'm just saying. I'm just at some point. I mean, he making this kind of money. He got to produce. That's all. He can't just be one of the guys. I was listening to his statements. He was talking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna allow Lamelo and Brandon Miller to do most of the scoring. I'm just here if you need me. Did you hear that?
I mean, I'm glad he said that. You
That
know.
was nice. I mean, you got to be assertive out here, man. In my opinion, don't get in the way. But I think he needs to be that scorer for this team. He need to be a go-to guy.
So
I don't think so. Oh.
they won't do it, but I would love him to be like the sixth man of the team and to
That's
lead that
what
second
I
unit.
said. I think they need to be bigger in the front court because I went through people's. I don't know if this is going to be most people's starting rotations, but most of these guys. I'm asking you this, Sam. Do you think Bridges plays bigger than what he is, or do he play at his height?
I think he can get overmatched physically as a 4. I prefer him at the 3. Honestly,
Right.
I would do Lamelo, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges,
And Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's the best 5 we got.
I'm looking at the front court of most of these teams, like, and I'm like, Bridges, like they're going to get out rebounded a lot. And now, do you know when Mark's coming back?
No, so we'll find out. So in 2 weeks, they're going to take a look at it and see if he's good to go or if he needs more time off. So like, it's not what you want to hear right now.
Yeah, and that's terrible. But yeah, I was looking at some of these front, and I'm like, he's going to have a hard time. Like, he's gonna have a hard time rebounding. He's gonna have a hard time, going back on the other end and being that offensive player and scoring. We'll see how good his 3-point shooting looks, and whatever. But I just think he's gonna have a hard time. This ain't the years to play him at the 4.
It's gonna be very interesting to see. If you could pinpoint who's gonna win the championship, I'm gonna ask both of y'all. And who's gonna be a surprise team, or who do you think is gonna win it all right now? Obviously, it's hard to tell. Who's gonna win it all, and who do you think is a team that we need to keep an eye on? We'll start with you, Sam.
To win it all, I'm going OKC.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How the hell you come up with something like that?
They got a center now.
With that young team, come on, they ain't gonna get past that. Okay.
And they can add more pieces too. Like, I'm backing OKC this year. A team to watch out for, Memphis. I think they could hurt some feelings. I think they can really hurt.
They're definitely gonna hurt some feelings. Easily. I mean, they was number 2, prior to all this craziness. And Ja coming back with a vengeance. You don't hear no problems. Everything is smooth going into camp. They got Edie. Look out for Memphis. Purple, what's your 2? Who gonna win it all?
I think the winner comes out the East again. So that's Boston to me. New York will put up a tough fight. The team to look out for. I don't think it's a team to look out for because I feel like with Memphis, with Bane playing the 3, Bane is too small. Like he gonna end up hurting, which I don't want to see him hurt, but they're too small. Like they got Ja, Marcus, and Bane. Like, nah. And then they got Jaren Jackson, and Edie. Yeah, they're big, but teams are going to exploit that. Like New Orleans can easily exploit that. Like Sacramento, it's just, they're gonna have a hard time. They're gonna have to be really good on the perimeter too as a defense. And I don't have no faith in Memphis. I think they'll be like in the play-in because the West will be close, so they'll be like in the play-in game. But I don't see them securing the top 6 seed.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. Some Thunder. Speaking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, it's crazy. He said Shea took a bunch of 20-year-olds to the second round. Now that the team is better, they should at least be in the conference finals. I think at the minimum, I just think that there's some veterans that's not ready to let go just yet. Like I said, Kyrie, I think he's gonna be a problem. They just got Clay. I think we need to worry about them for a second. the way they took out Minnesota, I think we need to pay attention because Minnesota looked like they was about to win it all. They just went in there and just made chopped liver of them dudes. I mean, seriously, like the way Kyrie was just humbled Anthony Edwards because he was just the Anthony Edwards show.
People called him the next Jordan, and then he just disappeared. Like it was insane. Had the
Kyrie, and he did it so effortless. I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, it was just he was just playing with him. And then talking shit at the end of the post game. Yeah, the young guy, the young fella. I heard him say that. Talking about he got me, and that's just crazy. But Anthony Edwards is a good player. He really surprised me. I'm very interested to see how he looks this season. What you gonna say, Purple?
I don't know. I just Minnesota. Like I'm not gonna say they was better with Towns. I just think Towns as well as Edwards did not show up, did not play consistently, and stuff like that. But I don't know about Julius Randle, but I don't know about this team still securing the top 4 seed, let alone the top 6. I think it puts them in a class with like Sacramento, New Orleans, those teams where you like, okay, on paper, y'all look good still, but on the court, I don't know. I just don't think Minnesota is going to be like the Minnesota of last year, like at all. I think they might have took a step back.
No, we're gonna find out. It's gonna be interesting to see. Sam, let everybody know what you got coming up. What can the people expect from you this upcoming season? Talk to the people.
Yeah, for sure. I'm on Twitter at Sam Dracula, X at Sam Dracula, and youtube.com/Sam Dracula, where you'll find me talking Hornet stuff. I'm aiming to have a video out Saturday, but definitely going to do a live stream Sunday during the preseason game. And then every Tuesday, a podcast I do with James Plowright at British Buzz on Twitter, Hornets on SI. We talking Hornets. we have 2 episodes out already. Most recent one from this week, talking media day, and I'm sure we'll talk about the trade that was finalized. We're hoping to talk about that Monday, but that wasn't finalized yet. So we'll be talking about that next time around. But that'll be throughout the season. YouTube as well on that front. But yeah, to be talking Hornets stuff. So if you're into the Hornets and want to talk and discuss and hope and hopefully root on for a playoff team. Like when I say the Hornets aren't going to make the playoffs, please understand I want to be wrong. Like I want my team to be good. It makes making content about them much more enjoyable because the last 2 years have been pretty brutal. I'm making content about the Hornets and I'm sick of it. So I want this team to be good. I really do.
Before you came in here, before you stopped by, you say you're big into football. What's going on that's catching your attention? What is it, college, NFL, both? What's going on?
So both, really. So a couple things going on. Really into college football this year. And I don't really have a team. My school isn't FCS or excuse me, I have an FCS school that I went to. It's not FBS. So I'm pretty neutral on the college football front. So I've been enjoying that and also been enjoying gambling on some of these games. Like that in North Carolina that got passed this past March. So I've been able to do that really. So been active there. And then the NFL front, right? Like I don't have an NFL team. I'm from St. Louis. My team doesn't exist anymore. So watching the Panthers, good and bad, mostly bad, has been fascinating. I was at the Panthers game against the Bengals this past Sunday. And boy, that was something to behold. So I'm fascinated by what's going on with the Panthers.
Yeah, me too. I like that game that he did. I think when he beat the Raiders, I was watching that game. I like a good underdog. And like I said, the Panthers seemed like they was becoming an underdog. And this guy Andy Dalton just went in there and just violated them. That was crazy. That was a hell of a game. I was watching that. What's the hell is going on with Bryce Young? We reported on that. I mean, is he finished?
I think it's over for him. I don't know how you like mentally. I don't know how you recover from it. Like Andy Dalton took the same guys that you were just playing with and threw for over 200 yards and threw 3 touchdowns. While with you threw an interception the first play of the game of the season. And then in the second pass of the second half, you threw a pick. Like, it's just not this confidence, a shot. Maybe it takes a year to reset, recharge. But what's happening now is what should have happened his rookie year, where he sat and learned. Team got better, hopefully. Like, this offseason, I know they invested a lot in their offensive line, and they've traded for receivers. They drafted a receiver. Like, they added pieces, but it's like, it's still, this team is not quite there yet. And they threw Bryce Young out there. So Panthers did him a disservice. He's doing himself a disservice. I think they just kind of hit the reset button and see what happens come draft time.
Right. What's some if it's like something that nobody would think about you, what's some of the interest that you do have outside of content creation?
I mean, I love Lego. I love putting Legos together. I got like there's Lego art pieces. I have one in this. I have a bathroom over here. I have an art piece on the wall in my guest bedroom upstairs. I got an art the Great Wave in Lego form. I got a DeLorean, Lego DeLorean. I got a Lego typewriter. I love the Lego like flower pieces. You know, I like a good Lego. Nice way to decompress and just like detach from technology and focus on one thing. It's always nice.
Right. That's good. It's always fascinating to see, what everybody else is into, because oftentimes as content creators, maybe people feel like we just robots and we just recording videos every single day, all day. It's good to let everybody know that there is a life outside of your content creation. You still keeping your ears to the streets of what's going on with WWE?
No, not really. No, but I did watch that Vince documentary.
Oh yeah, I seen that too. That was wild. Why he ain't getting the attention like Diddy?
Because it's wrestling. Like, no one cares. That's why I got away with it for so long. Like when they go through all this stuff, like it's such a low profile thing that you can get its own like niche that doesn't have the mainstream attention. So you can get away with that stuff. Where Diddy, like, everybody knows who Diddy is. Like, it's just a different level of fame.
Yeah, you're right about
but yeah,
that.
Vince, if you haven't seen it, Mr. McMahon on Netflix, that's 6 parts.
I saw that.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Listen, I've seen all of the shit. I was hooked on that. I watched all the episodes. I didn't even realize they had the whole season up there. I thought it was just gonna be like dropping one after another. They have everything up there, but I seen that shit. Purple, we're gonna stick around. I got some questions for you, Sam. It's always an honor to touch bases with you. You already know we're gonna touch back. Quarter way through the season, we're gonna be keeping our ears to your channel. We want to wish you nothing but success. I hope you can accomplish everything you want during this upcoming season, man. I wish you nothing but the best, Sam.
I appreciate it.
All right,
y'all take care. Have a good one.
I appreciate you, Sam. Yeah, Purple, man. We got some serious things to discuss, involving, the Charlotte Hornets. It's crazy. I want to get your thoughts on the situation of what's happening right now with Charlotte. They're going up against Karl-Anthony Towns, the Beast. I'm about ready to give him a nickname. He in New York City now. What's your thoughts on this preseason game going up against Karl-Anthony Towns?
I think, like I said, the defense. I just feel like the Hornets, like I heard like some people talking about Cody this week, and I'm like, I don't see it, man. That's all I would say. Like, I don't think Josh Green is hurt or whatever's going on with him. But I seen like a practice shot that somebody took, and Nick Smith Jr. was in a starter's jersey. So I'm like, what's going on here? That really don't make no sense. I would really start Green. At least he can do the catch and shoot better than Nick. I feel Nick is more of a creator. He's not a playmaker. That's for sure. But like a creator for himself and whatever. I don't know. I think if Thibodeau plays his starters, I think Charlotte's gonna have a hard time scoring against the Knicks.
I'm there with you. What's your thoughts on that? Because we didn't get your thoughts. Um, how the hell did the Knicks pull this thing off? Did you see this coming? Because they pretty much got him for nothing.
Yeah,
Julius finished. But I mean, we got to call it how we see it. I know we being nice as New
but
Yorkers. Julius was done in New York.
yeah. I agree there. But another thing is, uh, what I was about to say, when you look again, the new NBA, the CBA rather, the new NBA, the new CBA, and how it's set up and how things go. I don't see how you like. I feel like that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna start seeing guys like Zach Levine. I think that's who's left. Steph not going nowhere, but you're gonna see like guys where like they might be the best player on their team go for guys that's a tier under them, like Jimmy Butler. I don't think Miami might miss the playoffs this year, or yeah, and probably won't even be in the play-in because Jimmy Butler is a year older, and
Is there any way you can slow that music down? 'Cause I don't, is that you?
no, I was muting it.
My bad.
Uh, but yeah, Jimmy Butler is just a year too old. But in order to make the money match, we gonna have to do that. Like Brett. Oh, I forgot. Brandon Ingram could go to Chicago, but I think New Orleans might be nice and try to put Brandon Ingram on the playoff team. But I think Brandon Ingram is definitely going out east to whatever team. I think Philadelphia is out because, of course, they got Paul George and whatever. Maybe Miami because they do need to get a younger star there, but I don't know.
Shout out Dex with a super chat. He sent a $20 super chat to Flight Sports. We appreciate you. Says flight is hold on, wait a minute. Flight is inaugurated with joy over the Knicks trade. Listen, man, New York City has been a long time. We don't
Hey,
watch
Dex,
y'all.
come up here.
We don't watch y'all celebrate. Goddamn, this is our time. I'm tired of this. It's been a long time. I've been ashamed to be a Knicks fan. I'm telling you, the Knicks have been cursed. Every time the good shit happen, you just don't even want to celebrate it. That's how people say that your Knicks are good, man. Your Knicks, I wasn't even paying them no attention because I feel like every time I give them everything, they just fall. Everything just goes to hell. Don't, yeah, yo, Deuce McBride is the truth. Shout out Testing 1, 2, 3. That dude is a problem. Yo, we're gonna be covering a lot of New York Knicks basketball this
I'll
season.
be back, Flight.
Don't I appreciate you. Don't be silly, y'all. We're gonna be covering a lot of Hornets. The New York Knicks, man, is going to be a force to be reckoned with, point blank, period. And there's numerous reasons why. They got a bench too. I was evaluating their bench. I like Landry Shaman. Also they got what's my campaign? Campaign used to play with Bridges, out there in Phoenix. So I mean, you got a lot of different things, and who knows what they're gonna do. If Josh Hart might be starting, I don't know what they're gonna do with him. So it's a lot of different. He's gonna be coming off the bench more than likely. So the next bench, they got Precious Achua. Their bench is not as weak as a lot of people might think. So it's going to be interesting. The Hornets clearly is on a whole nother spectrum, from the New York Knicks. It's levels. The Knicks clearly are. They've already went through this stage. As I'm evaluating the Hornets, I feel like as a Knicks fan, we was just here. So it's like I think just they got to get the right people. The Knicks, they got Tom Thibodeau. I remember when they had the Hornaceks, and the Knicks had the Jeff Hornaceks and what's this guy's name? I don't Fisher, these guys were just collecting money and stealing it. You understand? Just like, and Lamelo, give Lamelo some good credit too, because a lot of these coaches that he had, wasn't the best, and he came out and the media, if you was watching Media Day, they tried to flip him a few times with some of his questions. They were saying things like, what's going on with the coaches that you have now? They were basically trying to hold up Charles Lee, and like all the rest of the coaches were shitty. which was not the case. All of the coaches brought something to the table. Most of them were slightly shitty, but they had, every coach has something that you could take. Clearly everybody went crazy on Borrego. I'm gonna keep it real with you. He's been the best coach Lamelo Ball has had. And people gave him hell. Clifford, he just came here for the money. I don't know what the hell happened with Clifford. I guess he did them a favor. And then when you go on to this guy Charles Lee, I think Charles Lee got a lot to prove too. Charles Lee has to prove that he's a better coach than James Borrego. That's what I believe he has to prove. And the key is, can he do that? That's gonna be the $1 million question. Can he outperform, Borrego? Can he do better than what this guy Clifford did? Clifford didn't get him anywhere. Clifford was supposed to do this and do that, but Clifford really did them a favor, because they was in a messed up situation when Kenny Atkinson basically told them to kiss his ass. So they basically lost out on Kenny Atkinson. They had to pick up the pieces. So that's how we ended up with that fool. But it is what it is. Now let's see with Charles Lee. Now everything looked good. Charles Lee is talking good. Eventually all of this shit got to go on to the regular season. And obviously preseason is whatever it is. But at the end of the day, the Charlotte Hornets have to establish some form of culture here. You can't continue to have a losing season. That's like I was telling Sam when he was in here. There's not so many more losing seasons Lamelo Ball is going to be able to put up with. They open up against Houston, on the 23rd, and then they got Atlanta. I think that the Charlotte Hornets need to figure out a way to get both of these two games. Then you got Miami. Listen, Toronto, they got Toronto also. And it's all within a 5-game situation. The Raptors are already throwing in the towel already. I was listening to Masai Ujiri. He's in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. He done said we are not competing. We are so y'all better look out for players like Scotty Barnes. That's why I was saying, like, this guy, they want to tank. Masai Ujiri said the Toronto Raptors are not competing. So I'm telling you that shit might start breaking up. People might be able to get their hands on a guy like Scotty Barnes, because they may want to lose some games. They're ready to get in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. They don't want to get in a situation where they got to give up this and give up that. Nobody wants to see that. But it is what it is at the end of the day, man. I love what I'm seeing from Charlotte. Everybody, the vibes is great. The new regime is there. You see new ownership. Everybody's present. They had such a good off season. Now it's time to put it out now into training camp. I want to see what it looks like in the preseason. You know who I'm really paying attention to? Because everybody's so caught up with Lamelo and Miller and Bridges. And I'm looking at T-Jan Salon. He will have my undivided attention, during the preseason. I'm just going to call it. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. T-Jan Saloon. I'm not concerned about Lamelo. I'm almost not even going to trip about Bridges and or even Miller. So somewhat. The guy I'm concerned with is the rookies. KJ. From all reports I'm seeing during training camp, I hear good things coming from KJ Simpson. All of the videos, all of the reports, the coaches are high on him. He missed the whole entire summer league due to his whole situation. He had a problem. You understand? So now he's going to be coming back. But T-Jan, he looked a little lost. I was listening to Charles Lee. He had to really emphasize things to T-Jan. Like I felt like he was saying things a little too much. So I obviously he's got to get back up to speed or get up to speed or with the American game. He's been out in France, but from the little bit I've seen, clips, he could be something, but let's see. But it's going to be a messed up situation. If T-Jan, is struggling, which I hope is not, he shouldn't be struggling with a point guard like LaMelo Ball. And believe it or not, all of the Hornets want to see the team do well. All of the whole entire team is always supportive of the next guy. they are going to want T-Jan to do well. They wanted Miller to do well last season. Miller didn't have, the way he finishes, the way he finished the season was not the way he started. Miller had a lot of bumps and bruises to get to, this player that everybody believes is destined for superstardom. He went through a lot of, inefficient nights, where he was upset about this and upset about that, but what I did like about Miller was he didn't like to lose. I think all of these things could bode well for the Charlotte Hornets, as they are moving into this whole new regime with this new ownership, new president, new coach. There's a lot of things that they can rest on, believe it or not. Miller is a guy who wasn't around for all of the BS and stuff and all that. He came on there to win, and look what's going on with his draft class. He's in the situation. You in the draft class with Wemby, yo. You understand? Wemby about to run. Who knows what's about to happen with San Antonio? Magic Johnson, the great Magic Johnson, arguably the greatest point guard in NBA history, came out and said that the San Antonio Spurs would be a lock for the postseason. I remember that shit. You understand? So what the hell's going on with Miller? You can't have this guy being I understand he's a unicorn, he's Wemby, he's an alien, whatever the hell they want to call him. He cannot be going to the playoffs and doing all of this and all of that. And your favorite player, you done embodied your game after Paul George. You have to help get this team to the playoffs as well. That's why I said I expect Brandon Miller to be the leading scorer of this team. And I believe LaMelo Ball would be completely fine with that. LaMelo don't have to be the leading scorer. LaMelo going to average his 20 plus and Lord knows what on the assists and the rebounds. But he's going to need some hitters. He is the point guard. You understand? So he's going to need guys like Bridges, guys like Miller, to finish for him. You got Mark Williams. We don't know what the hell's going to happen with him. After what I seen New York do, and they trying to get Mitchell Robinson up and moving, I would probably consider moving on from this guy if I could get something big time for him. I think that's something that you may have to consider. All jokes aside, the Knicks may very well move Mitchell Robinson, and he's injured. What the hell you think you can do with this guy who just came off the lottery not too long ago? I would try to figure out, because you don't know what's going to happen with Will. This could be an ongoing situation. He could come back on a minutes restriction and get hurt and be out again. He can come back, and shit could be going on forever. I'll say you cut ties with this guy. It's winning time. There's a new ownership, new coach. We got to figure something out, man, because if Mark Williams is not the center of the future, if he can't remain here, I would try to figure something out, man. You got to maximize the window around LaMelo Ball. We hear about all of these things, about maximizing windows. They say they traded this guy, Karl-Anthony Towns, to maximize the window for, obviously, Anthony Edwards. So I want to see what all this shit happens. Dex is in the chat saying TJ defense gonna be crazy. He said TJ is a flap at 6. I think it's too early to say. I think it's too early to say he's gonna be a flap. We gotta see it. We gotta give this guy time and see what he's gonna become. It's too early. We haven't ever seen this guy play a game yet. For we just pick him up and throw him in the trash. We gotta give this guy, let's give him a few games. With LaMelo, we got to understand that LaMelo should get him easier shots, so he shouldn't struggle. And there's a lot of people on this team that's going to get some attention, so I doubt that the defense is going to be shifting their focus to T-Jan. So he should, at some point, he should be able to elevate his game, alongside of these guys. He's going to come on slow. He is a rookie, y'all, so he's going to make mistakes. He's the thing with T-Jan, he didn't do himself any good service was he didn't have a good summer league, and they pulled him, as soon as they could have, but he did not have a good summer league at all. And if he was to have a bad preseason, you're going to have all of them remnants from the summer league, and then if he has he starts off rocky in the regular season, that's when the bust, the flop, all of these things start to really come out. Because right now, I wouldn't say he getting a pass, but it's a wait and see. this is kind of like his training right now during the season, man. It's expectations, for the Hornets. People are expecting the Charlotte Hornets to be somewhat competitive, even though people don't believe they will be. The Hornets are not supposed to be in the Cooper flag sweepstakes, y'all. So it's going to be interesting to see. Listen, man, the Charlotte Hornets, man, they're going to be doing big things this season if everybody's healthy, and it's not a goddamn thing that anybody's going to be able to do about it. They helping out all these teams. The New York Knicks are going to be a threat. I'm very concerned with Philadelphia. I'm not blind here, to think that the Knicks just got it all in the bag. I'm very concerned with the Sixers. I think they have the potential to ruin the party for New York City. And I ain't ready for the party to get ruined. This shit ain't even get started. So it's going to be interesting to see. Listen, we're going to be live again tomorrow. I want to appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for the $20 super chat. We had an epic interview with Sam Dracula. You already know what it is. We're going to be back. It's Flight Sports TV. Peace and love.
Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.